There's this bizarre cultural shift happening right now where simply trying has become the ultimate social sin. Whether you want to start a YouTube channel, pick up a weird hobby, dress a little different, or shoot your shot with someone you like, before you even take a step, that voice in your head kicks in. What if people think I'm cringe? It's just one thought, but it has single-handedly killed a stupid amount of potential. Not because cringe is some devastating insult, but because people are so paralyzed by the fear of being laughed at that they'd rather do nothing at all. As a generation, Gen Z has essentially weaponized the concept of cringe against itself. And the most frustrating part, the people judging you are usually just as terrified as you are. It creates this atmosphere of performative apathy. You sit there overthinking whether you should upload a video because you're worried the kids from school will screenshot it. Meanwhile, those same kids are too scared to post, too scared to dance, too scared to look excited about anything. You've cultivated a whole generation of hyper self-conscious people pretending to be above it all. Being detached is safe, being dry is cool, acting like you don't care is mocking the person who actually tried. It's the easiest way to protect your ego. But that mindset makes your world incredibly small. Once trying becomes embarrassing, being aggressively average is the only safe place left. I see this constantly with content creation in particular. You're thinking about posting a TikTok or stating an opinion online, and suddenly it feels like you're standing naked on a stage in front of your entire hometown. You imagine the group chats, the mutual laughing, the judgment, so you panic and delete it. When you step back, you're taking such a terrible trade. You're giving up your own interests to appease people who aren't building anything, aren't taking risks, and are just waiting to tear down somebody who did. The reality of internet hate and a lot of real-life bullying is that it usually isn't about you being weird. It's insecurity in disguise. Almost everyone grew up wanting to be a creator and an artist or something outside the box. And then when they see you actually doing it, it triggers that weird feeling in their chest because they have to face the fact that they were too cowardly to try that themselves. So they call it cringe. It's a shield. They aren't reacting to the quality of your videos, they're reacting to your confidence. And this doesn't just ruin internet culture, it bleeds into real life. People are so obsessed with managing everyone's perception of them that they stop expressing genuine emotion. You don't dance at the party, you don't wear the clothes you actually want to wear, and you constantly monitor yourself to not look too interesting. It's exhausting to spend your whole life trying to be the least mockable version of yourself. That's fear with better styling. So how do you beat it? You have to be willing to look a little stupid. You don't wait for the fear of judgment to disappear, because it won't. You post with your hands shaking, you speak when it feels awkward, and eventually you realize the world didn't end. You realize that most people are way too trapped in their own heads, worrying about their own image, to care about yours for more than 5 seconds anyway. The person who stops being ruled by the fear of being cringe becomes incredibly dangerous in the best way possible, because now they can actually move, they can actually create, they can fail publicly, and they can keep going. That person will always beat the one who stayed hidden just to protect an image. So yeah, Gen Z made everything cringe, and it's one of the most self-destructive things we've done, but you don't have to participate in it. If you have something you want to make it. Let them laugh. Usually they aren't laughing because they're above you, they're laughing because you had the nerve to move first, and deep down, that eats them alive. I mean, just look at the video you're watching right now. I'm literally talking to you over Minecraft gameplay. If we rewind just a few years, doing exactly this was considered the absolute peak of cringe. There was a whole era where older teenagers and young adults would actively hide the fact that they still played video games. They'd play it offline or they'd talk about it as a joke. And for what? Because they were terrified of someone finding out they still enjoyed a block game they played as a kid? It's completely absurd when you say it out loud. I remember hitting that exact same wall myself when I first started thinking about making content. I had all these video ideas, all these things I genuinely wanted to talk about, but I kept picturing the absolute worst scenarios. I would imagine someone from my school, or even just a random mutual on Instagram, stumbling across my channel, screen recording it, and sending it into a group chat just to roast me. That imaginary group chat kept me paralyzed for months. I was letting people who barely even knew me, and who probably didn't even care about me, completely dictate my free time and my creative output. It's a genuinely pathetic feeling when you realize you're handing the steering wheel of your own life over to the most judgmental, insecure people in your immediate vicinity. And the primary defense mechanism our generation developed to survive this is irony. Irony is ruining everything for us. People can't like a popular pop song. They have to like it unironically. They can't just wear a weird outfit. It has to be a niche fit. They can't just make a joke. It has to be buried under 10 layers of post-irony meme culture. We wrap everything we do in this thick layer of sarcasm that if someone ever tries to make fun of us, we have an immediate way out. We can just throw our hands up and say, oh, I was just joking anyways, I didn't actually mean it. But there's a massive hidden cost to that. When you spend years doing everything ironically, you eventually forget how to be sincere. You lose touch with the things that actually bring you joy, because you've buried your genuine personality under 20 layers of self-defense. You become a sanitized, completely uninteresting version of yourself whose only real talent is avoiding criticism. Here's the ultimate paradox of the whole cringe culture. The things society calls cringe today are almost always the things we feel intensely nostalgic for tomorrow. Think about it in the early days of YouTube, or the dramatic emo phases in the 2000s, or the hyper-enthusiastic fandoms. At the time, the general public called it all painfully cringe, but now we look back on it and realize it was just people passionately expressing themselves without a filter. The creators and artists who survived the cringe allegations back then are the ones who built massive, loyal communities. They're the ones who are idolized today. They won simply because they outlasted the laughter. The people who mocked them faded into absolute obscurity, working jobs they hate while the cringe kid went on to actually build something meaningful. When you let the fear of being cringe stop you, you're essentially robbing your own future self. You're choosing to be a blank slate just so nobody can draw anything ugly on it. But a blank slate is useless. It's boring. Fast forward 5 or 10 years from now, the people who spent their youth policing everyone else's joy aren't going to have anything to show for it. And if you let their cynical mindset dictate your choices, neither will you. You'll eventually wake up and realize you sacrificed your passions, your quirks, your genuine potential, all to impress an invisible audience of people who don't even like themselves. The heaviest burden you can carry isn't momentary embarrassment. It was the quiet, lingering regret of knowing you played it safe just to blend in with a crowd that was heading nowhere. So take the pressure off. Accept right now that somebody somewhere is going to think you are cringe. Make peace with it. Let that be the tax you pay to actually experience your life. Start the channel. Go talk to the person. Care a little bit too much. The people who actually leave a mark on this world didn't do it by being flawless, cool, or detached. They did it by being intensely, unapologetically passionate about what they love, regardless of who was watching. Because at the end of the day, when you finally look back at your life, you're not going to remember the random kids from high school or the faceless usernames online who might have laughed at you. Honestly, you probably won't even remember their names, but you will remember the things you gave up because of them. You will remember the ideas you abandoned, the hobbies you dropped, and the version of yourself you actively suffocated just to keep the peace with people who didn't even matter. Don't let the fear of being embarrassed turn you into a spectator of your own story, because the only thing worse than being laughed at for trying is being completely forgotten because you never did.